Hello and welcome to Gagro.net. This is Gagro live on Facebook. Armenian defeat not only shocked Armenia and Artsakh, but the entire Armenian nation worldwide. So we're just trying to understand what happened, what went wrong, all those dimensions, Russian dimension, Turkish dimension, Georgia's dimension. Should we just blame Pashinyan and all these things? Or there is so many things? Is it the military was asleep? Is the intelligence was asleep? So we have today a man who knows a thing or two about these things. He's a former diplomat and a political analyst. And so we'll see where went wrong this. Ara, thank you very much for joining us again. And please tell us first what went wrong.
It's the most difficult question and need more time to analyze and understand what happened, because it's a general defeat of not only Armenian army but Armenian statehood or maybe Armenian nation, because actually Artsakh was one of the part of our identity, nation, at least for last 30 years. It was the crown of our victory. We were proud of that. And this will have several negative dimensions. But I also hope that we will learn some lessons of this defeat. And we try to convert this into something positive, restart our statehood, rebuild our nation, and maybe in near future to overcome, if not all the negatives of this defeat, but some of them. Let's try to understand what happened. I think generally the geopolitics was against us. Everybody knows that Russia was the main cornerstone of our security and hard security. And everybody in Armenian army, in Armenia, in diaspora as well, were thinking that Russia will support us, Russia will help us, because this understanding of pan-Turkism, pan-Turanism is against Russia, and Russia is interested to have bigger and stronger Armenia, because we, in a way, stop the infusion of Turkish influence into South Caucasus and over that into North Caucasus. Unfortunately, we missed the most important part that, as Russian officials were telling us for last years, that we do not have any principal differences with Turkey. Turkey is our friend, and they were seeing Turkey as their ally against West. And they see West as the main enemy of Russia, not Turkey and Turkish world. And in this case, Armenia became not a friend, as we used to think, and an obstacle. And now they're trying to solve the problems with Turks in South Caucasus. This is the first time that after 1700s, Turkey is officially represented in South Caucasus. And they have their military units, observers in Azerbaijan and in the territories that they say they liberated from Karabakh. And this will be some kind of a joint control over ceasefire. And in these terms, we see that two other representatives, members of Minsk group, this Troika, United States and France, are against this new format, Russian-Turkish. And they are insisting to return back to Minsk group and go on with negotiations to have some kind of final solution. And just today, first time after the end of the war or ceasefire, we have a joint declaration signed by United States, Russia, and France, saying that Karabakh problem must be solved within the framework of Minsk Group, which is positive for us. What we have now on the ground, so-called Karabakh Republic has over 12,000 square kilometers, from which 4.4 thousand were from Nagorno-Karabakh Oblast, these 5 regions, and around that another 7. Negotiations were going on to return or to leave 7 regions around Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Republic and to keep under Armenian control 5 regions. Unfortunately, now we lost not only these 7 regions around Nagorno-Karabakh Oblast, also 2 of from main Karabakh, I mean Shushi and Hadrut, and some parts from even Martuni and Martakert. The rest, which remains under, let's say, Armenian control, which in fact is under Russian control, it's around a little bit more than 2,000 square kilometers, which is 1/6 part of that we had. And this territory is under Russian military control, so-called peacekeepers. The territory is divided into 2 parts. Northern part with the center of Martakert and southern part with center of Stepanakert, and the narrow strip of land, the Lachin corridor, which is 5 kilometers, just only 5 kilometers wide. And Russians have there, I mean, in the remaining of Nagorno-Karabakh, 1,960 soldiers or military men, but they have also some from other Russian ministries, which totally the number of Russian semi-military personnel comes over 3,000 people. Armenia now facing a lot of problems because the southern part of Armenia, proper Armenia, Sunik, now became as a front line. We have to define the exact border of Armenia with Azerbaijan in that region, in the eastern part, because southern part of western part of Sunik, it's Nakhichevan. The border more or less is defined, we know, but the other part, western part, now is a lot of tension going on for delimitation of the border, because there is no legal border, and there was no legal border between Armenia and Azerbaijan during Soviet time, because what is now called border between Armenia and Azerbaijan, in reality it never was a border. It just was some kind of administrative dividing line between units of the same country, as let's say within United States, so-called the borders between the states or between the counties, and nobody cared about it. But now it's becoming more and more important.
So, and also now they're saying in Turkey, they're pushing it, the Armenia has to give $50 billion, and all the Zangezur area they have to take it too. So I don't know how that's gonna play out. Now, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, they speak, it's some kind of propaganda, but they are preparing themselves for their demands over Sunni, because it's very important from geopolitical view. It divides the Turkish world into two parts, and always they were speaking against that. For now, they will gain, already they gained a narrow corridor from let's say alongside to Arax River. We do not know the details. It will be just a road or railway way, probably both. And they will have this land connection, direct connection with Turkey, which means from Turkey over Nakhichevan, over Megri, will go into Azerbaijan and to the rest of Turkic world. But they, you are right, they speak about the whole Sunni, saying that Armenia has to pay some kind of reparations because Armenia has occupied their territories and used the territories, raw materials and resources, which is totally wrong. Because first of all, I already told, there was no legal border between two Soviet republics. Secondly, Azerbaijan, when regained her independence, they declared themselves as a successor state to the first Azeri Republic from 1918 to 1920. And according to that document, dated October 18, 1991, they rejected all Soviet political legal heritage. They told that Soviet rule was Soviet occupation. And during the occupation, you do not have any legal consequences to define a border or something, first of all. Secondly, Nagorno-Karabakh was under administrative control of Azerbaijan based on party decision, not based on international document. And what is the latest international document that defines the border between Armenia and Azerbaijan? It's so-called report proposals of League of Nations, of a special committee which was put together by Council of League of Nations. Representatives of British Empire, France, Italy and Japan were there, and they defined the border between two, at that time, newly independent states. And according to this legal definition, not only Nagorno-Karabakh, but also Lower Karabakh is part of Armenia, which means that they have to pay us. The problem with Armenians is that we speak, they act. They already, at least I was speaking of legal struggle over 10 years, that we have to go to international court to find out what is the legal basis for the title to the territory. Who owns the territory? Whom belong legally, not by Stalin constitution or by Bolshevik decision. We unfortunately didn't do anything, and now we have to be in a hurry to do this, because I am sure that they will, with their propaganda, with their money, make people to understand that Armenia owes them $50 billion, and they do not need actually this money. But this is an excuse for the future to attack Armenia and to say, if they are not paying the money, we have to take, instead of money, these territories. This is just an excuse that they are preparing now for future war against Armenia.
Yeah, exactly. They They know what to do. The Turks know when to push. They know when to pull. Like they've been fighting with Saudis now. So suddenly Erdogan calls Saudi king, says, we're Muslim, let's be friends, So the Turks always do this. They're very smart. They know this. Politics, their number one issue. Now, can Armenia reject that corridor?
In principle, yes, but rejecting the corridor, you are rejecting the document, the ceasefire. After that, what? We have to go into war. Are we ready to fight a second war? I don't think for now it is possible. But also, I am sure that Turks themselves will violate this ceasefire when they will see that they are ready for a third war. And they will find some kind of, as I already told, excuses for this. For now, speaking about corridor, the important part is in the details. Who controls the corridor? How wide it must be? Has Armenia any control over that? We know that Russian special forces will control that corridor, Megri corridor, so-called. It will remain a sovereign territory of Armenia, but under Russian control. This is also something unusual in international law, because if not your force is controlling, how you can say it's yours? But this is that we have to push at least to have our part of this. I mean, to use the corridor from railroad from Yerevan into Nakhichevan, Julfa, and south to Iran. It's impossible that Armenians will use that train for people, but at least with Russian soldiers controlling the train, it's possible to use that 40-50 kilometers within Nakhichevan region into Iran and up to Persian Gulf. At least this will be some kind of compensation for the reopening of the communications, as is it written in the document.
So, in the Russian dimension, Russia waited until last minute, then got intervened, and then this Lavrov was drumming that the transportation's they're gonna help Armenia, things. And if Russia, I mean, this is the question Armenians have to ask Russia. You said you don't wanna do anything with Karabakh because not part of Armenia. But this corridor is Armenia. Why would you allow the Turks to have the corridor? So that means you neglecting your commitment to Armenia. I mean, this is the question Armenians have to ask the Russians. You sold Armenian land. Forget the Karabakh for a minute.
It's not the first time then that Russia sells Armenian interests, and will go on, because this corridor is not in favor only for Azerbaijan and Turkey, also for Russia.
Yes.
Russia herself is interested to have this corridor because during Soviet time, 80% of goods from Russia into South Caucasus were coming via Azerbaijan, not via Georgia, because Georgia, which is, there is another part there, Abkhazia, even there are a lot of tunnels there and very narrow strip railway. But the Azerbaijani railroad, which comes from Dagestan, Russia, into Baku and alongside Araks, now they can have a direct land connection with Turkey overpassing Georgia.
Because
you know that Russia has problems with Georgia,
right.
and they were just a Black Sea for their trade with Turkey, which means, let's say, from eastern part of Russia, and Russia is a big state, territorially, a big country, they had to take all these things, goods, to Novorossiysk port, upload into 3 boats, and take into Turkey, and this was making the transportation, the shipment, very expensive. Now they can directly from Ural, Siberia, using this railroad, which comes to Azerbaijan, Megri, Nakhichevan, and now Turkey is building another railway from Igdir into Nakhichevan, and from Igdir into Kars. They can use this just for their trade with Turks. A couple of years ago, Putin himself was telling that our goal is around $25 billion they have annual trade with Turkey, and he told that our goal, Russia's goal, is to have 100 billion turnover with Turkey in 1923, which is the year of Turkish Republic, the centennial of Turkish Republic. Russia see Turkey as one of her markets, and they are trying to sell natural gas, oil, crude oil, and some other raw materials to Turkey.
I have a feeling this was a conspiracy. I never use word conspiracy, because when I saw that corridor, and that was a signal, this was well planned. Russia knew what they were doing, and Armenia become just victim of Russia. And it's just like, this is what it bothers me and most Armenians, because, you know, when I saw the second day of this document, Lavrov was saying, you know, this gonna be great transportation corridors. He was, you know, selling this product, and Russia really been a nightmare for Armenia. It's been nightmare.
Unfortunately, you are right, and it even can become worse, because now we have a lot of these jihadist terrorists on the northern part of Iraq, and also we have gathering of Turkish army in near Armenian,
and they will never leave.
And in Nakhichevan as well, over 10,000 Turkish soldiers there. And also a prediction that in near future it could be a really big war between Iran, Turkey, from one side Iran, and other side Turkey, Israel, and Azerbaijan, with support maybe United States. It can happen until the end of January, as the Trump remains in office.
Yeah. Armenia again becoming a victim.
It will be very difficult and dangerous for Armenia, because Armenia is really a small country. We do not have any strategic deep to retreat. In any case, you know, there is a city town, Razdan, which is on the halfway from Yerevan to Sevan. This is the city with most distance from the border, any border. Yet this is just 62 kilometers. I mean, the most, let's say, safe city in Armenia is just 62 kilometers from the border. The rest are much closer. Yerevan is around from 20 up to 40 kilometers. The rest are from the western part, Gyumri, and the north part, Vanadzor, is from that part. This is when you are in a small country, you do not have any real possibility to organize your protection of your country.
Wow. Well, a nightmare.
Yes.
I believe the Turks and the Russians, this was really, really planned. Because why would Armenia fight 44 days and then the 45th day says, whoops, we're capitulating, you know? And amount of soldiers are almost equally dead. Azerbaijan lost 3,000, Armenia lost 3,000. So it wasn't like overwhelmed. Suddenly on the night, they said, oh, if we don't sign this, we're going to lose 40,000. How could that happen?
Unfortunately, our army, the weapons of our army were mainly old Soviet-style or Russian weapons. Turks were using lots of drones, these Turkish-built or Israeli-built, this Bayraktar, and they were attacking from air into our positions, which was really very dangerous. But the problem is that we used to think that we have good anti-air defense, anti-missile defense, and so on, and electronic defense, and Russians for a couple of days used that. But the problem is that there are lots of very strange things were going on at that time. We need more time, more evidence that why many cities were left without any fighting, why Armenian army that could counterattack in some places never did this, why so many things that we had in our military units never used, why lots of goods that have been sent from diaspora mainly remained in Yerevan, not mainly, but some of them. I mean, this we can see that first of all, army was not so organized that we used to think that we have strong army, well organized. Yeah. Secondly, the main tactic of our army was, it seems, wrong. But I think the main thing is that geopolitically we lost our ally that we're thinking that it's ours. Because you see, you speak about the declaration of ceasefire. Usually in the international law, in the international relations, what kind are the ceasefires? You sign a ceasefire, you stop fighting, and armies remain on the position that they are. Or you sign and you distribute the land according the negotiations that were going on before that, before the war. In our turn, we see that it was the worst for us because they occupied some territories from Nagorno-Karabakh region, Hadrut and Shushi, and we agreed that this will remain, because they already occupied, this will remain under their control. But also we agreed that Kelbajar and Lachin, over 4,000 square kilometers, will be given to Azeris because we were negotiating about that for years. It can't be this way, that it's not some kind of restaurant menu, you go and choose what you want. It can be either what you negotiated or what you have on the ground. But it's somehow happened that we were forced to accept the worst solution of this war.
So there is, beside those Minsk group, can they do anything?
Surely they can, if they want, and will be serious and will have serious intentions to do, because United States, it's a superpower and they are pushing hard. But they are pushing hard just for now with resolutions, but with not any actions. If France and United States will say that for many years we together were negotiating that only the territories around Nagorno-Karabakh will be given to Azerbaijan, but the rest will remain under Armenian control and with status. The problem of status is very important. Nayo Aliyev saying it's over, no status will be given to Nagorno-Karabakh, which comes, that is less than Armenians had even during Soviet time, because during Soviet time at least Armenians had this autonomous region. I think that France and United States, because of their interest, not because of Armenians, they will not allow Russia and Turkey to solve this problem without them, because this will mean that they are pushed out from South Caucasus, and South Caucasus is becoming increasingly more and more important as a corridor from Chinese trade routes, as a neighboring part to Iran, as a neighboring part to Russia, Turkey, and in these latest documents of the United States, we can find a lot of negative words against Russia and Turkey, which means that the United States, at least they have to have some kind of presence, maybe in Georgia, first in Georgia, and later in other countries of South Caucasus.
So, in terms of Pashinyan, everybody wants to resign, but he's not resigning. What's going to happen?
I don't know, but it is a foolish thing. You lost the war, you lost everything, and he is to blame. It's not that only he was guilty for that. We do understand that before him, all this over 20 years, maybe 30 years, all years of our independence, we have done a lot of wrong things. The corruption was all over the country and also within the army, which was the worst thing. And many weapons, equipments that had to be there were, or they were out of order. And this cost us not only billions of dollars, but also thousands of human lives. But he has to resign because he could be more smart, and within these 2.5 years, really he could done a lot of better things. Let's say, take an example. We paid $130 million for 4 Russian Su S-30 aircrafts, military aircrafts, but without any weapon, any missiles, because Russians were telling us that they cannot sell now. First, they have to equip their aircrafts, and before that, after that. And I don't know why he bought all these things that just only for show up, to use them during military parade and say. But if instead of these aircrafts we bought some drones from China, let's say 1 million for each long-wing drones, we could buy 120, 130 drones, use them, and I am sure with these Chinese drones, we did not lose the war. This is the problem. I mean, because he was controlling the army, and because he is in his character, he is some kind of overshouting on everyone, and the generals were concerned, or even they didn't want to go against Pashinyan's will, knowing that he will fire them.
Yeah.
I do not say that the generals were right. The general must be principled in principle and tell that we need these weapons. We need anti-aircraft system. We need electronic struggle, fighting, and so on. It was never done, and because of this, now we lost 10,000 square kilometers, around, I don't know, over 4,000 lives, around maybe 7,000 handicaps who will have billions and billions of dollars, and the proper Armenia became endangered.
Could Armenia go to war again?
Yes, it could. It's possible. Turks will. I already will find some kind of excuse and wage a war. It's not depend on Armenia. It's on geopolitics. This is we have several years, up to 5 years, because according to the declarations, Russians will stay in Karabakh up to 5 years, and after that they can stay more if the sides agree with that. We'll ask them to stay. But I'm sure that Azerbaijan and Turkey will not agree, which means that Russia, if acting according to the declaration, has to leave South Caucasus. But I'm sure that within these years, Russia will give Russian passports to Armenians living in Nagorno-Karabakh, and they will stay there saying that we are here to protect our citizens. Maybe within these 5 years, there will be a lot of tensions between Turks and Russians, and Russia will change the policy against Turkey, and they will finally understand that stronger Armenia and Armenian presence in South Caucasus, it's in their interests. But we were hoping on this over 100 years, hoping that always Russians will come and help us. You know that Armenians were calling even Russians Keri, uncle, and saying uncle will come and protect us, but it's never happened. And the most dangerous part of our history that we lost most of our territories, these were the years when Russians and Turks came together.
Yeah.
It was after World War I, when Kemal and Lenin came together against West, and we lost not only Western Armenia, we lost Kars to Turkey, we lost Nakhichevan and Karabakh to Azerbaijan, and now we can see that Putin and Erdogan are coming together. Almost each day we can see that Çavuşoğlu calls Lavrov, they speak for hours, and our experience shows that when they are together, we have to find something that will come out against us.
You know, I don't know if you had a chance to see that video I made. You know, I didn't trust Armenian politicians. That's why that was before war I made. I said diaspora has to have its own military. They invest on the military, build those advanced technologies and drones and all that. I knew these things because Armenia under Russian control, it's impossible because they got corrupted because it's a poor country, and it's very easy to go give somebody, $1 million, they'll sell their mother, And this is why we're saying Armenians to stop building churches. They have to start building military. We write books, we read them. We make movies, we watch them. We do all this garbage, It doesn't help. I've been saying this for 30 years, But I've been in Armenia sometimes twice a year. I interview those politicians. All you hear, they attack each other. There is no constructive things. And there is, I mean, people like you, smart, you guys not running for president or something. So I believe these things could be from outside. Diaspora could do lots of things. But diaspora is divided too. This is another problem. You know, it's...
You see, I never was involved in military equipment or organizing the army, but after this war, during the war, I became very close to groups of very intelligent, smart Armenian young scientists, and now I am helping them with organization, with my connections, to build sixth generation of drones, which is based on artificial intelligence. The thing is that these guys were proposing Ministry of Defense beginning from 2014. These new things, new weapons, even that there are very based on intelligence, artificial intelligence drones, is 6 generations. Maybe United States and Israel have. We have some of them, but they never became part of our army weapons. Just a few of them. And this is I'm having a lot of meetings, including with some diaspora members, to find some kind of financing these projects. We are in a stage of testing them, and we are in cooperation with our Ministry of Defense. But it must be done privately, then be given or suggested to Ministry of Defense. If we will wait themselves to come out with their proposals, with their ideas, the bureaucracy kills everyone.
Doesn't work.
I spoke to them, some of these military guys, and I understood that there are so many obstacles to do something within an army, and also some of them, not all, but some of them, these military higher ranking officials, they are not really interested to build something new. They just want to show that they are doing something, but it's very hard to do really something, and just to show up.
In 2016, I believe I don't remember exactly, Armenia had this Digitech technology exhibition. So I was there, I went there, you could see those young people, they were building robots, they were building amazing stuff. And so I assume this goddamn military people in Armenia are utilizing this stuff. I mean, there were so many things, even as a small was, some girl made this, what was that, swing baby. You could put the baby in and you just go, if she cried, the thing start to swing. You know, like there was technologies there. I was amazed. And then when I see this war, Armenia is fighting with the Soviet era military, I was shocked.
The problem is that our army is a typical Soviet army, which is based not on technology but on numbers. But on numbers, the Soviet army can be based because it was a huge country, 250 million people with huge territory. They can retreat for 3,000 kilometers
and fight back.
Moscow, and then again retreat.
Yeah.
We do not have this. And also that at that time nobody was using these very smart things, drones and others. Let's say a tank which costs $3 or $4 million, is now nothing against a drone which can cost just $3,000.
Yeah.
With a drone with $3,000, you can destroy an equipment which the price is 100 times more.
But
And this is we have to go take this path to develop our army, not on traditional traditional weapons, but modern weapons.
and tanks are for if you are invading a country, you're occupying a country, you need tanks to go occupy. When you're in defensive mode, tanks doesn't do nothing because that's exactly what happened. They just came and hit them all. And
Yes, also tanks are useful when you have nuclear war. You can close all these windows and those and so. But nobody will go, at least in our region, into nuclear war. We do not have this. We have to see. What I can say for sure, it's not the last war. For good or worse, it's not the last war. Unfortunately, we will be engaged very soon, historically very soon. It can be after several months or after several years, but not more than 10 years, even not more than 5 years. And this is for us crucial time, a vital time. Either we will rebuild the army based on modern understanding and not only weapons but also communication, control and command, all these things, or we lose again the war and we lose Sunik and other part, and Armenia will remain just a small, a city country, that some kind of Singapore but without a sea.
Yes.
Just one city state.
I mean, you could see even Israel, Turkey, they don't build this stuff. They buy this material from here and there and assemble them, So it's not like the Israelis, they're inventing stuff. Or Turkey, 90% all the components are they buying from here and there. And we are here in United States, we could have a facility, we could convert those churches. I know there's priests, they don't like me. You convert those churches to a development center, buy this stuff, build them here, do the research. Then you could just give it to Hayastan or there. Or go in the Greek, build them in there, We need to have this military mindset. We are so much in book writing, movie making. What is that organization? They give $1 million for Aurora for human rights. Like it's all garbage, That Afeyan, why can't he's a scientist, why can't he help Armenia with scientific things? We don't need any more books. We don't need any more movies, That Kirkorikorian give millions of dollars to make one stupid movie. Well, how did that help us?
Over 100 million was spent on that film.
What did we gain? How many drones could we bought with that money?
At least 100 drones. And
Yeah.
we could actually, with spending $100 million in Armenia, we could have industry of Armenian drones with some Armenian spare parts, with some that we will be buying from abroad. And with this 100 million, we can have easily 10,000 drones. And a country with 10,000 drones, nobody will risk to attack. Even Turkey will not. Because with 10,000 drones, you can destroy at least 5,000 targets.
Yes.
5,000 targets, it's almost all tanks, SUVs, and all these things.
Every time I went Armenia and I see there were buildings as luxury hotels, luxury restaurants, I keep asking ordinary people, will you be able, I have videos of this. I'm not just saying this. I have video of this. I ask people, will you guys be able to keep Karabakh or Ampayman? Ampayman v'stayir. Look at now.
Yeah, because they were saying Ampayman because the understanding was that Russia always will protect Armenia. If a war will trigger somebody, it will not take longer than 3-4 days. We'll have enough weapon to fight against, and so on. But and also everybody was thinking that our army is much stronger.
Yes.
Our army used to be stronger, the strongest, but it was some 20 years ago, not now. And especially within last 5 years, Turkey and Azerbaijan bought a lot of modern things, and we can see that the war was planned very smartly in details. Everything was done, and this is that I was speaking that we have to analyze what happened and to learn our lesson, to do our homework before the next war. Otherwise, we'll lose the upcoming war as well.
They knew even the weather. They calculated the weather. They calculated the U.S. is in election. They calculated everything. This is why I'm saying the Turks.
COVID-19, everything.
Exactly. They knew everything. And in my judgment, I believe the reason Azeris accepted because the winter was coming, the cold weather is coming. They knew they can't go more, so maybe that was the reason they stopped it.
Not only that, they knew that the Russians' main goal was to have their peacekeepers, so-called peacekeepers, to have them in South Caucasus. And Armenians must stay in Karabakh, which will give a legal base for Russians to send troops into Karabakh. Otherwise, if Azeri, let's say, will, as they say, liberate the total Karabakh, the whole Karabakh, no reason for Russians to keep army. And for Russians, there is no difference. Will Karabakh have 2,000 square kilometers or 12,000 square kilometers? For them, it's just important to have there because they can predict that in Middle East, the majority of wars, these coming 20 years, will be in the Middle East. And they are preparing themselves as well, because they do understand they have this Muslim population in the south part of Russia, and they need to protect this. But they are also very, maybe I can say even afraid of Turkish army, because Russian army without nuclear missiles is weaker than Turkish army. I mean, in terms of conventional weapons. And this is that for them, one is political reason that weak Turks to be against West, and the second is military reason, because they see that in conventional war they cannot defeat Turkish army, and they were surprised. And this will have another political negative results for Russians, because we can see now Turkey is selling the Bayraktar, these drones, to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Ukraine, which is fighting Russia, they want to use this experience of Karabakh war against Russians. And Turkey is speaking about Crimea as their territory, not as part of even Ukraine or Russia. Crimea is part of former Ottoman Empire, and no Ottomanism is based on this understanding. I am sure that one day Russians and Turks will fight each other, but the problem is when. And usually during this love time, Russians and Turks, we are losing a lot of, and then they are fighting each other, and we will stay just between them, and again giving some casualties. This is the problem for now, at least for a couple of years, Russians and Turks will be very close friends.
Okay, so that was geopolitics. Local politics. Who are those 17 people? Are those any of the major parties in it, or like say Republicans and others, or it's what? Who are those 17 people parties?
There are 17 parties, yes, among them Republican Party, Հանրապետական կուսակցություն, Դաշնակցություն is among them, Party of Gagik Tsarukyan, this Bargavach Hayastan, Prosperous Armenia is them. Some of them new parties, so-called Hellenic Party, Motherland Party of this Vanetian, who was head of Armenian security during Nikol time, and Nikol gave him, made him general. But the rest are really small parties with maybe a couple of hundred members.
So which party is not in it?
No, there are a lot of parties that are not in it. Let's say the opposition party in parliament, Lusavor Hayastan, is not there. Sasnatsrel is totally independent. There are a lot of parties in Armenia, European party, and so there are over, I don't know, maybe 100 parties in Armenia. But generally speaking, there are maybe 10, 12 parties that they have real numbers.
So this guy is this guy who is now a candidate. Is he got what percentage of Armenia will support him?
Okay, they have Vazgen Manukyan as their joint candidate for them. Vazgen Manukyan was the first prime minister after Armenian independence. He was at that time part of Hayot Hamazgain Sharjun, but later he created his own party, Azgain Ժողովրդավարական Միություն. But he was not active in politics. He was always in politics, but not active as a party leader. He was head during Serge Sargsyan time. There is an organization affiliated to government, which is called Հանրային Խորհուրդ, Council of Public or People. That this is some kind of that keep contacts between government and people. I think he is a compromised candidate, which is supported by Russians as well, and the other parties. But he will be just if he will win, and if let's say Nikol will resign, because there are a lot of if there. He will become, if he will become prime minister, it will be just for 6 months. After that, Armenia will go into new elections to elect new parliament and new government.
Well, a nightmare. Well, it's amazing. It's amazing nightmare. You know, I think wherever government comes in, or probably not government, I think you should become head or something about this advanced research and development, so that you could not only in Armenia, but you could reach to diaspora, you reach to US and other, try to build this technology, new modern technology, as you mentioned, 6th generation technology. And I think also in diaspora, in United States, has to be something like that. So it will be cooperation, so they could be able to buy stuff, you know.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to do my best now in 2 fields. One is this high technology, new technology, and so on. We're trying. I'm not a specialist, but I know this field very well. I know who is engaged in what, and cooperating with Ministry of Defense and with other ministries, trying to help and support them, mainly with my connections and my organization. If some diaspora Armenians would like to support that, we can find me on Facebook, just Are Papyan in Armenian letters. Connect me, and can put them through to these groups, and they can directly contact them.
But we'll have you. We just thought one day we have this conversation specifically on that subject. You know, we have to raise, because that is very important to me. I've been saying that for years. You know, that we need a technology center. You know, we stop publishing books and all this crap. I'm not saying you don't need books, but we're just putting too much emphasis on that. And then look at in California, there is 2 million Armenians. There is not a single Armenian in a Congress. And yet this lady comes from Somalia, and she's running for the Congress. She got elected in Congress. So Armenia need to do both politics and technology and stop this religion, stop this. Jesus doesn't like Armenian. Why are the Armenian going after them? Jesus didn't help them in first world. They didn't help them now. They didn't help them ever. So just stop that, you know. Stop building churches. I was in 2000. In 2000.
Armenian church is part of their identity, especially in diaspora. And this is why they think that keeping Armenian churches will keep them staying Armenian.
I don't think so. But that is how they think. But that's not the fact.
I also don't think so, because if the church will keep Armenians to be Armenian, to stay Armenians, in every country where we have Armenian churches, we have to have some Armenian communities. But in many countries we have churches but no Armenians.
Yeah.
It shows that Armenians keep the church, not the church keeps the Armenians.
Look, they built thousands of churches in Western Armenia. What happened to that? They built it. You know what is most was bothering me about this Artsakh? There are thousands of young guys died, and people have lost their home, their cow, their everything. Everybody said, oh, our heritage, our churches, our monastery. Who cares about monasteries? You know, those young people died. Life lost. You know, and this is why it bothers me, this stuff. We need to concentrate on technology, but you have to come back once you have more information. We need to get you and people.
We cannot speak about all things and everything this kind of openly, but I can say that we have done a lot of research and we are really advanced in this field. Now the problem is, can we implement all these things in the army? Not just examples, just patterns or some. The problem is this. And the second field that I would like to mention is that I will be focused on international law, which is important because to fight back of these Azeri demands against Armenian Sunni and money, compensation and reparations, because we have to face this in the near future.
Yes, because they're gonna push it. Turkey is gonna push it. Yeah.
Yes, they have.
All right, buddy. I don't know if you want to have to say something before we close it.
We are really in very difficult position, but it's not hopeless. If we really analyze what happened and put together a very smart plan and rebuild our nation, I'm sure that we can regain even what we lost and really became advanced country. This is important. Armenia must be strong, rich, and advanced country, and a big country. Otherwise, we are in the neighborhood that small and weak countries will not survive.
Yes, and we have to be honest and transparent. We don't have to lie to people that we have to be more stronger than we could say, project that, you know. And so, I agree with you, and I hope people like you with a positive attitude start putting something together, looking for future. It's where we lost, we lost. There is nothing you could do about that for now. And also Armenians have to question Russia why you didn't stop that corridor. What was it in it for you? And that's a very important Armenian point to Russia. I thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.